right, as we start today, Age of Ula, you stood in a place of relative safety now, as Verstratha has been pushed out, unable to come down, and dawn is beginning to approach. The creatures that feel more empowered at night to attack the city find themselves retreating. You've quelled the shadow portal that seemed to let in more pure umbra, sending much of it back, and thusly no longer disturbing the creatures below. While there's still guards and those who are watching for any surprise or aberrant behavior, the whole city is finally beginning to stop holding its breath. And of course, Nietzsche, you are holding the crown that friends have, like those who have brought you out of the depths, kind of started it all, and you were trying to understand it a bit more. And your memory is hazy, but I would say you recognize one of the gems. To your eyes, you can see that they're not all identical. They are slightly different shapes, different cuts. And this might be a thing where you might not even remember seeing all of it, or you wouldn't think it was not something you necessarily might have even taken notice of at the time, or something that was important but just became part of the everyday. Where do you feel like one of these gems might have been?
I feel like he would have seen it before around the neck of his commander, symbolizing his status and his abilities, his prowess, and the authority he carries and the legend he holds. He would remember his commander Raiden, and through that he would remember the order that he was a part of. The Velvet Blade, an order of 14 knights, many with great skill, each taking prowess in a different type of martial weapon. Whereas Nietzsche's is a great sword, Vermilion's was a sword and shield. One's may have been a mace, another may have been a warhammer, such and such. Commander Raiden was a master of all these weapons. He was an absolute prowess in the battlefield, no matter which weapon he carried, an absolute tactician when it came down to it. He remembers a bit more of his order. He remembers a bit more of Valefor as a initiate under his brother-in-arms, Vermilion. And of course, he remembers more of Vermilion, someone who he had trained with for a while, someone who was a human who was reaching an older age and nearing retirement. So seeing the gem sort of brings a lot of that old camaraderie and the idea of duty back to him. And he sort of ends caressing it with his thumb. It's like, I've not seen this so long. What is it doing here? What exactly? How much do you know of this crown?
We don't know much about it other than the mission that Valistratha sent us up to get and the effect that it had on our friend Ellie when she put it on. So the individuality of the crystals, what they mean and where they came from, we have no knowledge of those things. We just know it's important to Valistratha.
One of these gems. It belonged to my commander.
Are you sure it's that gem?
I don't know if it's this one exactly. The color, the shape, the cut, it's very familiar.
Okay. No, there are a lot of coincidences that we have come across, so it would not surprise me if this was another in relation to this crown, and seeing your familiarity with Valistratha or the person you knew before makes me want to believe that that is indeed the gem you remember.
It would be one thing if you wanted to keep a memento of Commander Raiden, but for the entire crown.
I don't believe it's for nostalgia reasons that she wants this.
Indeed. She was ambitious, to put it politely. But she wouldn't have slaughtered many innocents just for a gem.
Whatever this crown ends up being, it would give her ultimate power.
And therefore, we must keep it away, as far away from her hands as possible. If we're to be the bait that keeps her away from the innocents, then so be it.
Yeah, we've had a pretty good run at doing that up till now, so I don't see any reason not to continue. She dips in, makes her presence known, as you've seen. But yeah, we need to make our way further away from the everyday folks. Try to find maybe more information from different beacons. There are 7 beacons. There are 7 gems in this crown. Matthew, above table, do you remember which one was kind of activated or gave off some energy in this town? There was one, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, one was cloudy, and once you had put it on, kind of symbolizing the breach. But
so yeah, I'll relay that as well. That we got here, and then I'll show on the crown the one that kind of activated, for lack of a better word, once Elliot put it on here in town. And you can see it's now different, more vibrant than the others. So,
Is this from that beacon that you had lit?
yeah, from here, the beacon of the town. Yeah, from the.
So one gem is vibrant. Are the rest smoky?
No, they all seem right now. All look more dormant. Yeah, they're just the one had become smoky, and now that is no longer there.
Gotcha. How many of these beacons have you lit up?
This is just the first. unless the party did one before I got here, Matt. But I believe it's just
Yeah.
the first one.
No, you didn't necessarily even light a beacon. You all just reclosed the portal that was open with Allie.
I didn't know if they had visited any other towns that had beacons before I joined.
Yeah, so we had started at Bone Cleft Keep, lower right of the map.
So 2. We've been to. They were at Bone Cleft before I joined, and now this is our second town that we have visited with a beacon. It is our first since having the crown. They did not have the crown at Bone Cleft.
It will certainly be perhaps of great help to us if we could figure out how to use this. But for now, it would be best to keep this away from any other prying eyes, not just Velstraza.
Yeah, when Ellie put on the crown, she was able to tap into something. And I'm not quite sure what it was. It took a tremendous amount out of her and put her basically into the state that she's in. And it also called forth shadow creatures that tried to attach themselves to Ellie as form of kind of bonding. She referred to them as her children.
That is rather disturbing. So this thing, should it be one, can call forth more of those things.
Yeah, I would rather we didn't put this crown on again until we got more information or figured out what some of these other gems are. Unfortunately, Ellie was our historian, was our smart intellectual. Now, maybe you could be more of our historian from your knowledge.
If I could even recall half of it.
Yeah.
Everything is still off pod currently. I only remember the gem that made me remember my order and the command to Veil for. The rest are still blanks.
Sure.
So where are we off to next? You seem to have an idea.
Well, we just came from the crypts.
The crypts of Zarthu?
Yes. I would rather, if I had my druthers, not go back in there. I'm sure Grim would second that. Although, he does like to mix it up, so maybe he wouldn't.
Is that the temple we just came out of, or is that where we saw Velstraza retreat to?
So, yeah, she retreated to the crypts, which are right here.
Yeah. And that was the last place that we had encountered her as well.
Yeah, you guys are here. The
city was,
the temple was kind of underneath. Going down. Then, kind of, this is where the party had started from before. So we really just went.
Yeah, we've come across there.
Just a straight line.
Up.
The crypts used to be a holy place. The beasts she rose, those were for noble purposes. How could everything become so twisted? What could dim the gods' influence to such a degree?
That I don't know. It's always been this way my entire life.
100 years is indeed a long time.
So we have two possibilities here if we want to kind of head north. Or we can go over to the west. And as we
Well-
look at a grand, I guess we can have this crude map in front of us. Garen will ask Nietzsche, does any of this look familiar to you?
Could I make a knowledge roll to see what I can glean?
I suppose. I mean, I guess what are we trying to?
I was just trying to get if something stood out on the map, maybe we could head in that direction as far as our next.
Him mentioning beacons or like a safe place or whichever seems the closest and safest. Let's see if Nietzsche can recall any of that.
Yeah, I'm trying to think with that because I think with what we have for Nietzsche, as far as the beacons, like these are inventions way after he went underground.
Gotcha.
I was more thinking. Garen was more thinking of areas of the map that maybe are familiar to him that we could go and investigate to see if it would bring him more of his memories back up. Not necessarily head for beacons in this case.
Gotcha.
That was Garen's approach to this, since Garen doesn't have a particular need to go anywhere. If Grim doesn't as well, maybe we can now focus on getting you more acclimated back to where we are currently and seeing how that can play into what we need to do with the crown. So to answer some of your questions from your missing time is what Garen was kind of after. So
yeah, I would say depending on what you want to, if you're kind of going that direction, Nietzsche is over here in this area of the Amber Reach. These are the most untouched areas of the world that would be a little more familiar to you. Same with these large kind of statues here, and then kind of as soon as we get more here, this is, I think, probably very new, changed things built up. Like maybe Oak Gross might be in a place. But again, I don't think you knew it as Oak Gross, but I think these probably.
Like the upper levels of Amber Reach is something that's would be more familiar to him.
Yeah, and so I think there's also an opportunity because the way that we had done this as people usually join is go ahead and people went through and they actually put these titles there and we came up with histories on them, like one or two sentences, and then I had fun twisting them to whatever I wanted to scare everybody. But if you do recall something, we can kind of just say what you recall and why it was significant, and then kind of do it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we did head up to Amber Reach, then maybe Garen could push and we can go up into the Enchanted Glades as well, because that would be no, that's be more of a force. Garen would be more over on the left-hand side, where the low-lying waters would be. So
Amber Reach is the only place that I can recall to some degree.
Well, that's a better place to start than any. Not sure how long it's going to take to travel there.
Well, from the look of this map, it looks like we would have to go back through the crypts.
I think we can head overland due north.
Well then, you clearly know more than I do, so he'll roll the map back up and hand it back to you. You shall lead the way.
Garen will tuck the crown back into his bag. And we'll kind of take a glance around. I want to see if we can find Matt, the person who was kind of in charge of the temple to see if they could give us a place that we could stash Ellie, that she would be safe. I feel with now the portal closed and the beacon at full strength, she would be better off even hidden, though. I know Vallestrata had gotten to her once in the chaos, but maybe.
Yeah, so I think the priestess would, after everything you've done, is very open to this. As she would go, we can hide her better, put her, care for her, and at least initially have her serve as one of the guardians of the beacon adherents a bit, and up until she is, well, able to make her own decisions.
Okay.
So this friend of yours, you said she put on the crown. Why? What exactly would tempt her to do that?
Ellie was always in search of knowledge. She always wanted to touch every rune. She always wanted to read every book, pick up every artifact. Grima has told her many times to just, don't touch. But Ellie just can't help herself. She has a fierce need to know about everything. In a
I
moment,
feel like she and I would have gotten along swimmingly. It is disappointing. The timing is rather disappointing then.
well, we're hoping that she will be back to herself and we'll be able to rejoin us. I'm
I
sure you
hope
guys
so
will
too.
have plenty of conversations.
I would hope so. Perhaps she would have more answers than even I do.
Yeah, as far as when she put the crown on, it unfortunately was a time that I was not with the party, and Grim sometimes is not as steadfast on the crown as I was up until that point, it seems. So Ellie maybe got the upper hand that time.
Well, should she make a full recovery, hopefully she will learn better.
I don't. Maybe. Yeah, we'd have to see. And then Garen really does just chuckle, because the quench or the quest for knowledge is never dying in her eyes, I believe. So I know she would probably want to put it on because now she knows what's going to happen and she thinks that she can control it better or do something differently. Another experiment, another iteration.
It would be much better if she didn't. I'd say at this point she was lucky to get away. She was lucky to even get away with her life intact.
I agree with you.
And if Alistraza wants it, then it has properties that are far too volatile. But then again, if Alistraza wants it, then that means that there is a way to control it. We simply need to know more.
Yes. I agree.
So are we like walking and talking, or?
Yeah, I guess we had dropped her at the temple, and I'm assuming we would be making our way out. We wouldn't be trying to kind of rest or anything here. We want to be getting away from the town as quickly as possible.
Actually, trying to use like the daylight to travel as best you can.
Because once we're out there, when late time falls, it's not for the faint of heart.
Got it. Very good. And with that, begin your track. So your idea here is to. I understand. So my understanding is your idea. Let me get this bigger. Sorry.
So I think we want to leave town now and start heading northward.
Head north for the Amber
Amber
Reach.
Maybe for this big, whatever that is.
Gate?
Yeah, it's actually going to this gate. Yeah.
Yeah, the gate. I think that would be our best course, and we probably want to stay. As I tell Nietzsche, none of this path is going to be easy or safe. But what we have come to find out is that the waters seem to be a little more deadly and a little more unpredictable. At least in the brief time that I've been with the party.
So avoid the water. Understood.
You can't see things that are underneath you very easily, making no noise. So,
believe me, I have dealt with plenty of those type of creatures down at the temple.
Yeah.
In fact, you learn to develop quite a keen nose for these kind of things.
Well, that could come in handy. And I do want to, kind of give him an overview of some of the creatures. We've seen undead. We've seen flying bats, like the ones at Balistrata. We're riding that do tremendous amount of...
Which you do notice, Nietzsche, hearing about the bats, Nietzsche just sort of clenches his jaw a little bit, remembering what they were.
Yeah.
And what they've been turned into.
We have found a settlement before that we thought was friendly. Turned out they were just a bunch of cannibals. So even the seemingly...
I apologize for my intrusion. Cannibals.
Yeah, Grim wasn't happy about that.
Has this land truly fallen that far?
I think the Umbra has taken root to the point where people who may not be infected visibly are still infected mentally and spiritually, and living outside of towns that have beacons that offer that protection. I've turned people into creatures, into monsters that may not even look like monsters until you go back a few layers.
Hearing that, Nietzsche does seem to wander off a bit. Like, he seems to look at the ground. His mind seems to trail back to an event from his past. I think I understand what you mean. So, this infection is called Umbra, correct?
Yes.
And it can turn perhaps even the noblest of souls into monsters and creatures.
Yes. Yeah, there are monsters out here that were once regular animals or
people.
And they have been turned into grotesque beasts, monsters, fiends.
And hearing this, he just sort of like rubs his he seems to like rub his left arm a bit while while hearing this and still thinking. That would explain a great deal then. So this Umbra is the source of all this sickness.
Yes.
And you believe these beacons will perhaps be the cure for this?
I don't know if the beacons are the cure. The beacons seem to hold it at bay in the power that they exude. But it doesn't push back. So like the beacons aren't healing the land around it. It's more keeping the Umbra from overtaking. Matt, if I got that wrong.
Yeah, that's about right.
Okay.
But they can buy us time. Buy us at least enough time to figure out what happened with the gods, what's dampening their connection, and if we can find a way to restore it. Then we can push back.
Yeah, and then there's this. And then I'm gonna see if the same thing happens, Matt, as we're walking. Garen is gonna stop and kind of kneel down at a plant that is kind of withered and decayed by the Umbra, and I'm gonna pump some of my healing or my light into it to see if it has the same effect like it had in the tower, where it kind of pushed the Umbra back as well.
Mm. Yeah, I think as you just put, and this is like your light. This is from the seed.
It would be kind of I want the combination of the both.
Gotcha. Yeah, you put that down, and yeah, I think kind of near the plants and things that are, grow twisted, not straight, very odd, and you can see. It seems to be, I would say, like, as you hold it there's not an immediate reaction, but the longer it's there's what looks like a minuscule change.
Sure.
Like it might do something, but it's certainly take a large amount of time of, being changed here.
So when we were explained to B2, when we were in this tower, we were able to harness the power of this seed that Grim has, and using my light, kind of push this light out, almost created our own beacon, and push the Umbra away from this tower that we were in. And it actually even kind of destroyed some of the undead that were clamoring around. So this seed holds a key to maybe what we need to do. I think my power holds some of the key, some of the magic that we need to infuse it, and I think the crown and its gems are another puzzle piece. But that's really all we have. We have these three seemingly unconnected things, but just seem to pull together.
Here is how I see it. This crown, that seed, your light, it is... When I left that temple, Valefor showed me things. Sights that were familiar, but dark and wrong. I almost gave up. I thought leaving the temple would finally bring me some peace. Only to realize I've just watched into a much wider hell. But seeing your light, Grim's visions, they are proof the gods have not abandoned us yet. Something is blocking them. Something is twisting their world, their light, their power from... The point is, they are not gone. I know you and the Grim have said that they left us, but I don't believe that. I refuse to believe that. Your light, that power, the power to push back this sickness, It is a sign from them. They have given us a task. One that we cannot fail. One that I will not fail again.
Yeah, I'll stand up and put the seed back in its little folded pouch and back into the bag so it stays safe. And just say, I hope you're right, my friend. My new friend. I hope you're right.
I know, one must always keep faith. It is one of the things, it's how I've survived down there for so long.
And it might be refreshing to have someone who, I don't know how, but remembers the old times. Remembers living in those times.
Well,
And
I
can
hope to recover
provide
my
that.
memory. I
Maybe
hope
not
to recover
remember
my-
completely, but you know what I mean.
I understand. I hope to recover them as soon as possible, though I will not disappoint. There's questions I need answered. It may come back in pieces. It may come back in pieces or fragments, but I know the given time we will recover my memories, and hopefully with those memories we may have answers to what we have. This crown, that seed. I remember the gem. The fact that it's attached to this crown, they must be linked. The sooner we can get back my memories, the sooner we can get that answer. And pray those answers lay in Amber Reach. Which does bring me to something I have wondered. In a world as dark as this, when or how exactly did you claim such light?
It actually wasn't until just recently. I grew up being raised by my grandmother, who, oddly enough, believed it just like you did, that the gods were not gone. But as a teen, and seeing the world and the hardship around us, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't come to that conclusion myself. So I listened to her, but I never heard her. And as I got older, I still wanted to make a difference. I still wanted to help. So I joined the organization of the Dawn Keepers, who went out and helped in parts of the world that were overrun by the Umbra, towns and villages that needed assistance. But the Umbra took hold of the organization itself and started to corrupt it from within. And I had to flee after discovering how far the corruption went. And that's when I found the party and found Grimm. And actually, they found me. They rescued me in a cavern that I had been webbed up by this enormous spider and was probably on the way to being its dinner at some point. And they rescued me. And we made our way out of the caves and out of the mountains to this tower. And we had to progress up this tower, many, many floors, 7, 8, 9, 10 floors. And each floor presented us with a different challenge. And it was there that I had a vision of my grandmother, who forced me almost to believe in these things, because we were close to losing it all at that point. And once I looked inward and truly believed what this vision was saying to me, my grandmother, the power flared and the light came, and that's how it's been unleashed. I've been holding it back all this time. My grandmother had told me there was always this gift within me, and I had never believed her. I had never wanted to believe her. How could I? It's chaos and darkness and death everywhere. There can be no light. But now there is. And now I hope there are more out there like me who have this. And then maybe that's part of the puzzle that we need to solve.
I've always learned from personal experience that the most dire of circumstances, true life or death, is the moment when we either break or we reach our full potential. I do believe the gods have chosen you. I do believe that you are living proof that they have not abandoned us. And I do hope that we find others like you. Hope is what this world needs now.
That is true.
And hope is how we will keep going. Hope and faith. And of course, a good sword arm doesn't hurt.
No, not at all.
My commander always had this saying that there's two things you need to survive a battlefield: a sword in your hand and a comrade at your back.
You sounded like an inspiring leader.
Indeed, one of the greatest. I have your back just as I know you have mine.
I do. And Grim has them both.
He may not have a sword arm, but he's got one hell of an arm.
He's got two ginormous arms.
Indeed, his strength is impressive. We may be up against an uphill fight. Truly, I don't know what we'll face. You know more of this world than I do now. But I believe we can restore it the way it was. This nightmare is just that, a nightmare. A long-lived one. But nightmares end. They have to.
Well, let's hope they end in us waking up and not sleeping forever.
Indeed. Very well then. Onward to Amber Reach. And we're just gonna keep walking.
Yeah.
Good.
Walking talk.
Yeah.
Yeah. In that case, as you continue, continue your movement, and you're going this part of the city descends. The expanse before you is riddled with a mixture of thick wood with kind of a low mist that seems to cling. There's this, I guess, noises, these scratchings, sound of things hunting. Um, and like with Garen and Nietzsche, as you look, there's also what first appears to be kind of rock formations that stuff has grown around are clearly old stone structures. What look like sometimes like an arm of a statue, other times a engraved pillar, carved pillar, I should say, that's sticking out oddly. Um, and though overgrown with wood and darkness, it's clear you're traversing across a once populous city. It's starting to give you the idea even that maybe this once connected to the city you've come from, that you were in a small section of what once was a very large area, maybe once even connected over to your destination, but long destroyed. I would say, why don't you go ahead and give me a survival to kind of begin navigating here. I would like to. Sorry, it'll be instinct. My bad.
We're so D&D coded.
I'm so sorry. Yeah.
Ooh, okay, let's see. Instinct.
6 for Garen.
That is instinct. That is a 20 with fear.
Oh, yeah, we're both for Garen.
Yeah, both of us. All good. Okay. So traveling the ruins, what do you feel like each of you are like looking for or looking out for?
I think Nietzsche is largely relying on Garen's guidance, as he's more familiar with this kind of terrain than Nietzsche would be.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like as Nietzsche is walking past these ruins and is looking at these like overgrown bushes and the statues, he's trying his best to try and recollect what this area used to be and what it meant to him.
I think Garen would be looking for any signs of settlements, any signs of like real life out here, not so much on the lookout for monsters, but or threats even, but really looking for if there are any signs of life out here that has somehow survived the Umbra without being around. And I think as we travel the countrysides, or however you want to refer to this, that's kind of his main approach. He wants to see if people are able to survive out here, and if so, how.
Yeah, Nietzsche also has a fair bit of paranoia to him. Those old instincts from down at the temple are still there. So it's like every time he hears a snap of a twig or a growl in the distance, he would instinctually sort of snarl and then grab his sword and try to keep an eye out, see if anything might attack them.
Absolutely. Looking for signs, you are able to begin to find several creatures. You come upon a large corpse of this strange cross between what almost looks like an avian and a reptile. Long tail and much of the feathers replaced by scales, with vicious kind of long teeth and like a serpentine tongue. But it lies what looks like almost like exsanguated, dried. And looking about, you see about 5 others similar within this area.
What manner of creatures are these?
I'm not 100% sure. Have they noticed us? Have they taken any interest in us?
So all you see right now are some corpses.
Oh, some corpses. Sorry.
Do they have like all massive battle wounds, or do they look like they just sort of dropped?
Looking, I would say it appears as though there seems to be a single wound in each that looks like it cuts right through their brain or head. It's round and extremely clean and sharp.
So nothing that looked like it was caused by a bigger wild animal.
No. You can actually give me a knowledge roll if you'd like, Nietzsche. It's up to you.
Okay, I'll do that. That's not too good. That's a 12 with fear. I gotta start rolling with fear.
I think as you look, it's begin to see that there seems to be a somewhat large amount of dried blood on both sides of its head, which strike you as a bit odd, as one should favor the other. And even kind of looking at where it has fallen, the splatter is kind of on dual sides, but at the same time, it seems that through the same wounds, its blood was drained.
This doesn't look like it was caused by some wild animal, but this wound is odd.
Are the bodies, are they just like...
Eee.
That is the corpse of the thing.
Are they just
I was thinking of the dragon for a second. That is just horrid.
Are they arranged in any way, or do they just look like they fell out of the sky? Just fell where they were? Are they standing like,
Yeah, I would say looking about, you can see You can see where there are there's within like a indented section of these ruins what looks like it has been kind of like dug out a little bit. Seems to be a large area where there's bones and bits of fur, what looks like from various creatures, along with a nest and what appear to be several, what appear almost like bluish eggs with black spots, giving you the impression that these were probably hunting around here and protecting a nest. Let's say
What is your observation, Garen?
I don't know. Their wounds indicate that it was one clean shot that got all of them at one time. They have no other defensive wounds on them. There are no other battle wounds.
But take a look here. Take a closer look at the wounds. The blood is off.
There is no blood. Right?
That is what concerns me. These don't, as I said, these don't seem like they were done by a wild animal. But then again, what could drain the blood of beasts this large?
And how many did you say? There were multiple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like 5 in this area.
But it all had to happen at one time. They wouldn't be standing around to watch each one of these be drained. So it indicates some sort of spell or magic weapon.
Not one that I feel like we should be encountering, especially if the wielder of this so-called weapon is dangerous.
Danger would be probably true.
Still, the blood concerns me.
Can I do kind of an investigation to see if there's any other tracks moving away or...
Yeah, I would say go ahead and give me instinct.
Just a 10 with hope.
Sounds good. In that case, as you follow the tracks, kind of bit by bit here, you sort of look and you can see what appears to be drops of blood that would almost indicate a type of trail here. And as you as you follow it, you notice that the blood itself seems a bit too fresh. And you realize that parts of it are floating and hovering in the air. And that's when you just spot an individual with blood red robes, a hood covering their head and face, and several cuts, blood forming out with a smile upon seeing you. as they the time has come. Excited at your presence.
Need to quickly hearing that quickly. What was he speaking out to us or?
Well, he'll speak, and so ultimately, with that particular check, they are going to get an ambush here as they push us up, and as they say that, their skin kind of shudders for a moment, as almost like there's a bunch of movement underneath their face that you can see in their hands as they wave their arm, and particles of blood like fling and circle around the two of you, and you feel movement in your own bodies as though what's within you is getting manipulated and pulled. And I need strength reaction rolls, please.
Crit.
Crit, nice.
25. If that
Wish me luck.
my second crit since starting this game, you guys. Either that or I have a hard time remembering that doubles are crit. I think that might be more the case.
17. Very nice. In that case, you feel your bodies almost being pulled to the ground, but you are able to strengthen, keep your footing correct, breathe, so that you're unaffected. Given a kind of disappointed tilt to their head, they kind of angrily move their gesture from kind of the swirling one, bringing their fingers together, and then a strict down motion as the particles of blood combine together, forming what almost looks like a pointed lance that then rockets towards Garen. And let me roll that. That is going to be for a 21 to hit.
Oh, yeah.
Nice. Awesome. That is a total of 20 magical damage.
Eesh.
I'll see it coming. Just at the last minute, it gets my shield up, but it still is able to kind of penetrate through and do a bit of damage. Just
Bless you.
rumble and kind of sling it off to see if I can get the spear after it hits. Pulling back the blood, it's still a spear, just to kind of get it off of my shield.
Nice. As I look, and more particles around begin to float, but I will pass the spotlight the party.
Garen, what is this?
I don't know, but he needs to go down fast. You can't let him.
Agreed. And Nietzsche will help. Is he in far range or?
Yes, this would be far.
Okay, good. So Nietzsche is going to dig his claws into his palm again, let the blood start to flow. And he is going to use, as he shoots his hand out, and you basically see sort of like is it all called a rope dart? Something similar to a rope dart attached to a bloody chain.
Yes.
So let me just read this real quick. Location, if a target is location, yeah, the creature's a Make a spellcast roll. Right. So I have to make a spellcast roll for this one. That. So. Pretty sure it's my agility. So that is a. I'm really shit at math. Sorry for this. So that would be an 18 with spear.
All right. 18 with fear is going to hit.
All right. So, so it would basically dig straight into his the shoulder, the one that he was waving the arm with, and I'm going to pull him within melee range.
Nice.
Let me just roll the damage.
Far to
real quick.
melee. That's fantastic.
Yep. Let me just roll the damage. That's not too bad. That's not too bad. That's a 4, 4, 4. So that's a 12 points of magic damage.
Oh, very nice. That will be a major.
Nice. And yeah, I pull him within close range, within melee range.
Perfect. And was that with hope or fear?
That was with fear.
Okay. Perfect. So, all right, you as they get pulled, and right now looking at you, kind of quizzically, as their smile grows large, you can see right into them. Looks like their veins are begin to grow on the outside of their face, and their irises are a deep crimson. Yeah.
What the hell are you?
What? Your blood contains secrets.
Product, what the fuck? What the hells do you mean? What are you?
And at this point, the blood around that kind of has been spilt now from him, swirls around and forms another lance trying to pierce. Nietzsche here, that is going to be a total of a 14.
Yeah, that'll hit.
All right. That would be for 11 magic.
That'll be minor damage. I'm gonna mark a hit point to reduce that to nothing.
An armor slot, yeah. Very good. As that occurs, they kind of look. No, I must understand your blood. As they form another one here. That one for 21 to hit.
Yeah, that'll do it.
For 16 magic damage.
That would be major.
Nice.
So, yeah, I'll just mark the 2 hit points.
Mark the 2. With that, blood spews out and seems to combine with their own, and then go into their body. And they go, huh, and they get this smile upon their face, as it almost seems like their form grows and muscle begins to instantly generate. They go, apostiosis.
I'm going to make you pay for that.
They go, no. Everyone will want you, as they again kind of close their fists, trying to control the blood within the two of you. And I will need strength reactions.
It's going to be an 11 with hope.
14. It's reaction, so.
Yeah, it doesn't generate the hope.
Oh, 11.
This is 16 for me.
Okay. So Garen, you feel as if your own blood just pulls you down and weighs you down, knocking you prone to the ground, and we will give you made vulnerable by this. And then with Nietzsche, how do you feel like you control and are able to withstand this?
So one thing he's definitely... So he doesn't still fully understand his form. He doesn't exactly understand this power he has. He just knows it has something to do with the blood.
Mm-hmm.
He's learned to harness it to a certain degree, and so as he feels like the blood is trying to pull him down, he just relies back on his old instincts and his old experience, and he manages to get it under, sort of like stem the tide and get it back under his control.
Perfect. Any marvelous control. And I will pass the spotlight.
Garen is going to shoot one of his bolt beacons at the creature that's right there, of course. So just gonna hope to shimmery light. Let's see. Shit. That is only going to be an 8 with fear. It's not good as he's laying on the ground and he feels his blood just kind of bubbling and boiling inside of him, and he can't shake it off. Tries to shoot out a bolt of the shearing light, but it just goes over top and misses.
Nice. Was that with fear you said?
Yep.
Okay. Continuing their kind of greedy, wicked smile. And one touched by light, the rarest of finds. And with that, they glut out. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and put out 2 blood lances here. First one over to Garen for that is an 18.
Yeah, that hits.
And to see how we going over to Nietzsche for a 19 to hit.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Then Garen, your damage is going to be 16 magical.
Okay.
And then 9 magical to Nietzsche.
Yeah, I'll mark an armor slot to reduce that to nothing.
Nice.
Yeah, Garen's armor does take a little bit of the damage, but still gets through. It's still laying on the ground.
And they're kind of understanding what you are as more blood pours out of your wounds. They kind of twirl their fingers as the blood itself begins to glow with your holy light as it becomes again part of this form. And their crimson eyes begin to glow themselves. Amazing subjects. As I will pass the spotlight.
As Garen's on the ground, he's like, Nietzsche, he's got to go down.
Agreed. I don't know what the hell you are. I don't know what you want, but this is my blood. I'll happily keep mine in my body while I watch yours soak the earth. And Nietzsche is going to go into Smarkus tries to go into his Lycan form.
Nice.
So yeah, same thing. He grows to 7 foot 8 feet tall. The neck elongates. The armor's being stretched as far as it can possibly be, as he is staring down at this guy. And he is going to make a physical attack.
Got it.
I gotta enable the like inform. Hold on. Here we are. Okay. Okay, thank God this one is with hope, thank God. It's +2. Plus I can roll a 1d10. That didn't. Well, I'm assuming that so 16 does an 8. So I'm guessing 18 with hope hits.
Yes, definitely.
Gotcha. So just let me get my d10s. That'll be 3 d10s. Gotta love the Lycan form.
Uh,
6. Ooh, 6, 12, 13. So 13 plus 16, 39. No, 29.
ooh,
29. Very nice. That is going to be severe damage. And is it a claw or a bite?
Technically it is a great sword attack, but I'm
great
using
sword shoots Lycan as you go through. Okay, so you do that as a stare
flavor-wise,
into this. Oh, sorry.
Flavor-wise, he is using. So yeah, just flavor-wise, he is using his claws.
Oh, sure, doing claw. Awesome. That's what I thought. So they kind of look as your claw like is in their stomach, and they just again. There's a moment like they're observing you as they were like watching the transformation. Rudimentary, basic, but complete. So beautiful.
Just stay down.
But you all still have the spotlight.
Garen is going to get up on his elbow and try to shoot another bolt beacon. That's good. That's a 19 to hit with fear, though.
That does hit.
All right.
Oh no, it should. Sorry, I forgot to mention before. So since he's in his Lycan form, when he rolls with hope, he gains a stress instead. And
that's right. Yeah.
That would mark my last stress, which means that, let me bring this up, frenzy. When you mark your last stress in wolf form, you go into a frenzy, roll a number of d20s equal to your tier, and automatically deal physical damage to all creatures within very close range.
Oh.
Sorry, Garen.
So should that be before my roll then?
Yeah. Yeah. Let's get this damage.
It's automatic damage too, so.
Yeah.
So, Garen, you've heard Nietzsche mention before that sometimes he has blackout moments, and when there's blackout moments, there's blood. As he does claw into him, Nietzsche sort of has his head in one of his hands, like no, before his arm goes slack, and you hear a growl, and you see his eyes. There's no you don't see the consciousness behind them. You see what looks to be more like a feral beast. Oh, this is the one time I was hoping to roll low. So that is a 19 and a 20 on my 2d20s.
A 19 and a 20. So you're dealing 39 damage.
Yes. If get to the guy in melee range, and if Garen's in very close range, into him as well.
Yeah. So yeah, because definitely Garen's right there. So that's 39 damage, Garen, as they just go crazy swinging.
Yeah, Garen goes down.
Oh no!
Oh fuck! No armor slots. Jesus.
Yeah, I marked the armor slot, and that still takes me 2.
Do I at least take this guy down?
We'll get to that. So let's do a death move from Garen.
All right, so this is my first one. So mechanically, you're gonna have to.
Okay, yeah. So your choice is there's just kind of go unconscious.
Okay.
If you do that, you have to roll a hope die, and we just see it has to be higher than your tier.
I think it's the level. It's his character level.
Oh yeah, higher than your level. Sorry, correct. It has to be higher than your level, and if it is, you are essentially okay. If it's equal to your level or below, you gain a scar, which decreases your maximum hope permanently. And then we decide how things get worse in general. And with, then you have risk it all, which you roll your hope and fear. If your fear is higher, you die. Your character's permanently gone. If your hope is higher, you, I think, heal the total of both dice in stress and HP. And then there's Blaze of Glory, which ultimately means that you die, but before you do, you get to make a move, and it's a crit automatically.
I don't want to do either of the moves that could result in death. That doesn't seem to be a good story move at this point.
Yeah. It's not always good, but sometimes you're like, oh, this is a good time. But might not be this time.
So I will roll a hope die and hope that I get level
It just
4.
needs to be, it needs to be higher than a 4.
Okie dokie.
Also, I think as far as losing a hope, if I remember reading it right, losing a hope slot is permanent unless you can come up with a story reason on how to get it back.
Correct.
9.
Okay, so you get no scar.
Correct. Actually, let me do it. We haven't done one of those in a little bit. And then we do work together to see how it might have gotten worse here.
I know with Age of Umbra, instead of getting a scar, he would have accumulated Umbra.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that might be a good story. Maybe it affects my beacon or my healing in some way. Maybe it affects my beacon that it makes the damage 2d6 instead of 2d8.
Oh. Well, so I think for this getting worse, well, I mean, we could do that. For this getting worse, it's usually a little more temporary, a little more plotty, I would say.
Okay.
A little
I'm
less.
just saying if we're going to let if the Umbra is going to affect him.
Well, you don't gain
that's
the
if
scar.
you would have failed. That's if
you don't have the scar.
Okay, sorry then. So what do we need? What do we need to figure out then? Sorry.
So the idea is what gets worse right away from.
Oh, what gets worse right away?
Happened. Yeah.
Let's see. Don't really know.
Okay, then I got something.
I'm sure you do.
I will gladly take
not the
it.
GMs. Not the GMs, Rick.
So as you go down, then we see as your blood splatters into the air from Nietzsche, and already Nietzsche's wounds spray blood from them as they move. Like your blood type's going to combine and hit each other into this strange thing of like golden and crimson and smiling as they themselves now have gaping wounds. Yes, they go to fall as if they would have been defeated, and there's this like tremor as those combined blood drops suddenly fling towards their form. It's like, and they do as they take a step forward, and their blood begins to almost like multiply. More and more of it starts spewing out of them, covering their form. And you see what looks like strange bloody pseudopods and tentacles coming out, forming swords and crossbows of blood, as now their voice almost vibrates through their blood instead of their vocal cords. Now this is what real blood magic can do. And they ultimately, mechanically, have gotten a new HP bar, basically.
Oh, damn.
But with that, I will keep the party having the spotlight.
Yeah, so at this point, Nietzsche is vulnerable, and the second that happens, he does get knocked out of his wolf form, and as he sort of shrinks back down, falls to his knees, just like overwhelmed, just like realizing, oh no, he's been in this situation before, and looks over towards Garen. It's like, no, Garen. Looking over at the guy, looking over at the blood guy, how is he looking? Like, how hurt is he?
So they seem to actually be, for this form, essentially full HP.
Oh, damn. Just looking over at him, somewhat seemingly pleading. He's like, "You got what you want, now leave."
Interesting. Give me a presence.
Okay. That would be a real good time for a crit.
Yeah, I would agree.
Oh, that was so close. Oh, well, it's still fairly high, so presence. That's actually pretty decent. So it's a 16 with fear.
Okay. It stops. Yes. All the Order should experience this. And I think they begin to drag Garen's body away.
Oh no, Nietzsche is immediately not letting that happen. He stays, you leave.
Why don't you follow then, Old One?
I rolled with fear, so I guess then I can't exactly attack.
Yeah, so I think with that, where you can kind of convince them to stop attacking and trying to kill you two, and is now because of success with fear, their idea now is that they are going to take Garen to what appears to be some type of conclave, and is attempting to kind of entice you to come as well. So they're essentially take this moment to get a far distance from Nietzsche, grabbing and carrying Garen. So then I'll pass the spotlight to Nietzsche.
So he just like grabbed Garen as kind of bolting off.
Yeah, so he's got a far distance now.
Yeah, so Nietzsche is obviously gonna chase right after him.
All right.
overwhelmed with the guilt of what he just did.
Like that. And I think if you're all good, I love the idea of ending while this thing is
Yeah.
running and Nietzsche is chasing.
Yeah, that's good.
And then +2, if next week I'm out, I'm unconscious anyway. So you can figure out how Grim is caught up.
Yeah, because are you out next week, Mike?
Yeah, I'm out next week.
Okay, cool. So then we'll go right to Nietzsche and Grimm trying to rescue,
Yeah.
which would be very good for the story.
Grim's gonna have a fucking few words with Nietzsche after that.
So, Grim, that's